Hello and welcome to FF Lifestyle. We are here today with a bunch of my good friends at Blue Mountain Resort in Pennsylvania. This is my first time at Blue Mountain. I am snowboarding today, of course, and we're going to try to do every run that Blue Mountain has open and to offer us today. And I'm going to take you guys along for the ride. It's about 20 degrees today, freezing, but we got a little bit of snow on the ground, which is pretty nice. There's two different parking lots. You have the upper lot that goes more towards the right side central part of the mountain itself, and that's something I am not used to. And then you have the main parking lot on the bottom. Realistically, there's like kind of a pro and con to that. When you first arrive, you can just get right onto the mountain. It's going to jet you right down to Burma Road, which is the first run we did. I didn't get that on film, but it is just, there's a lot of folks on that trail that you guys are going to see. The only downside to parking up at the Summit Lodge is when you go to leave. If you're cutting it close to the end of the day, you do your final run, as you'll see later on, and you just want to get out of there. As you get down to the bottom, you're going to have to basically take the Comet Quad up to the top and traverse, or take the Main Street Quad. But as we're going to talk about later, that's just not what you want to do. Comet Quad right off the bat was actually not bad at all. It reminded me a lot of Killington and just how effectively they were running that chairlift. It was really excellent, and that was like a 6-person lift. We were pretty jam-packed on there with everyone that was with me. Started off the day with one warm-up on that green trail, and I think we might have done another green, and we just wanted to hightail it right to the double black diamonds. And the reason for that was just simply because we had a relatively good amount of coverage of blown snow throughout the entire portion of the mountain on any open trail. I was very impressed by that because, as you can see with the surrounding areas of the woods, there was really not a lot of just natural coverage snow. So the fact of just how much snow Blue had on the ground for a Pennsylvania mountain this time of year was very, very impressive. Our first run of the day that I filmed was Nightmare, which was a double black diamond. Nightmare, we found as a double black diamond, was not at all really a true double black diamond trail. It was very reasonable. Man, I'm almost running into people left and right. It seemed like throughout the day there were a hell of a lot of folks just not paying attention to what was going on anywhere in their surroundings on this, especially when they were on the double black diamond trails. But Nightmare kind of curves down to Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver was a blue that was very, very pleasant to ride. There was absolutely no real issues with Dreamweaver. There was no heavy ice. This was in the beginning of the day, so I didn't expect there to be a lot of ice. But it was also a pretty open trail. And me and my buddy Ray, who's also with me, sporting just a banging M81 jacket the whole time, he came to the conclusion, he's like, you know, I wonder if Nightmare is like a local thing where they label it a double black just to keep a bulk of the people off of that run, and just the locals that know it's not a true double black diamond are able to use that trail frequently. But again, it didn't really seem like it was rated accordingly, and that's how we felt a lot of the trails were at Blue this time out. It seemed like a lot of the double blacks and black diamonds could have easily been labeled as blues. So if you were somebody that's a beginner, I think Blue is going to be a great mountain for you. As you leave Dreamweaver, you come down to Paradise and Home Stretch. So Home Stretch, as you're gonna see, just was a minefield all throughout the day of people. Me and Ray are like that kid on skis just right in front of me, and it was just like that all throughout the day. And you can see I'm not even carving, I'm not taking up the whole route or trying to do anything crazy. It's just people were like moseying on right in front of you, and it happened all throughout the day. So that progressively got worse. This was still early in the morning. The people just started piling in, man. There were so many people at this mountain. I've never seen anything like that at a Pennsylvania mountain. And the way that Blue does this, really, it is almost like just a major issue on the way that they organized it.
There's a lot of room on the other side there.
Now, we had to stop, of course, for a sugar waffle. At least I was the one that got the sugar waffle. It reminded me a lot of my trip in Vermont. Very good. Would strongly recommend, if you're going to Blue, to check out the sugar waffle. Now, as far as the lower lodge, it was packed beyond belief. So if you're looking to get anything like legit at that lodge, I would just go ahead and hightail it to the Summit Lodge. That was definitely the lodge to go to. After Nightmare, we went to Razor's Edge, and that is kind of the main big old trail on top of the mountain. It's very daunting coming up to it, and it was my favorite trail of the day. Razor's Edge is what I would consider a pretty true Pennsylvania double black diamond. It is definitely something that you want to be pretty advanced to do, not something for a beginner. And what you have on this trail is a little bit of a dip, pretty steep at the top, but then all of a sudden, like 30-ish yards down, it really dips, and there's almost like a little bit of vert going on there. And the 360 cameras, unlike GoPros, actually do an incredible job to show just how like legit the upper portion is. And you can see even when I'm like in the fall zone a little bit, I'm picking up speed very quickly. And even if your board is just horizontal on that fall line, you're still going pretty fast. Throughout a majority of the day, this was the least traveled run, and it had the most coverage, I would say, out of the entirety of Blue. So this was an awesome run. I had a lot of fun on this. We did this maybe 4 or 5 times. And then what happens is Razor's Edge funnels all the way down to Home Stretch, but there's like 3 major dips all throughout Razor's Edge. And there's a little like offshoot called Razorback, and that was just, again, another little dip throughout the middle of it. Really, what I noticed all throughout Blue that was a little interesting is like a lot of the trails seemed unnecessary, kind of like, I know other resorts do this as well, but it really seemed like they were naming trails just to pack the amount of trails that are available at Blue. Like there were multiple that it's basically the same trail. Like you don't need to name it and have 2 separate ratings and gradings and 2 separate trails. It's one route, man. It's one run. So I think the trail map at Blue was surprisingly confusing at times. It's when you get there, you can kind of start grasping it after a few hours. We did the 8-hour pass, but sometimes it was a little unnecessary. Pretty much all the trails funnel down to Home Stretch, which is a green, and Paradise, the big old green, funnels down into that. started to try out the blues, and this was where we immediately regretted our decision with the first blue, which was switchback. Switchback started a little bit of the frustration throughout the day. The camera's going to do a hard job actually picking this up. There was a lot of ice on this, man. It was probably the most ice I had seen in a very, very long time at a Pennsylvania resort, which is saying a lot. And the only reason is it's been very cold here, so all that top coat that they blew onto the mountain, after a few hours, maybe 2 of people just skiing, snowboarding it off, there was nothing left. Down to Main Street. This was probably around 12:30, and we're getting close to the height of everyone in the morning getting there, and I have never seen anything like this. It was absolutely awful. The Main Street quad I would avoid like the plague at Blue. We waited for probably about 30 to 40 minutes to finally get to the front of the line, and man, is that a buzzkill. And man, there were a lot of people cutting and just doing, it was a very frustrating line. I was not a fan of that at all. And by the end of that, we were so burnt out from the line that we went up and just took the connector trail all the way back to the upper lodge. Because the lifts take so much time here at Blue, you basically got to plan your whole day around waiting for the lift, which was very, very frustrating. The Comet Quad was the best, but even towards the end of the day, it was so jam-packed with people that it would take roughly 25 minutes to just get onto the lift. Once you got onto the lift, it was a fast quad up. It wasn't super, super long, but again, you're spending all that time just waiting in line. It was notable that the amount of people that were there was kind of a hampering on the overall fun we were having. Now, the upper lodge was way less crowded. Had some awesome pizza. Prices on the waffle, the pizza were really not bad, like super reasonable for a ski lodge. I didn't see anything that was a major issue, but the pizza up at the upper lodge, right when you get out, it's like outside, there's a bar there too. That was very, very popular, so just be prepared. I think for 2 slices, I waited about 20, 25 minutes. Like just 2, hey, you got 2 slices of pepperoni. I'm choosing that. And we're all sitting there trying to figure out what to do. And I'm like, all right, the slice has got to be the easiest, right? That's got to be the quickest thing. And that ended up taking just as long as a full like pizza would take. So you might be better off just ordering a pizza for the table. Very important, after the Summit Lodge, you don't want to go all the way down to the bottom, because if you go to any of those runs, it's going to take you right down to Main Street Quad, and you're going to have to navigate all those people that we just saw in the earlier scenes. So what you want to do is take the Vista chair. Once you get the Vista chair, you take that up and you can take the Traverse all the way over and do any of the blues there that are going to jet you out closer to the Comet Quad. You're going to want to stay on the Comet Quad. If you're going any day, Friday to Sunday, you're going to want to stay there the entire day. Just don't even worry about any of the other trail lifts. Next up for the Blue, we did the Lazy Mile, and that is a crossover. So you have like the crossover is labeled as a black diamond, but it was so short. This was one of like the unnecessary trails that I'm like, why is this even a trail name? It's just a little traverse that's like 50 feet long, and then you're on to Falls, which is supposedly a double black diamond, and I was just not really seeing that. Conservatively a black diamond, but the length, it was only like maybe 100 feet. It was like 100 feet done, and then you're on to home stretch again. So I'm not really sure why that was, again, rated in the way that it was. The grading just seemed a little like unnecessary. With all the guys I was with, their favorite run of the day, and kind of mine as well, was free fall. That is a black diamond all the way on the left side of the mountain. Free fall has an awesome view of the surrounding areas of Pennsylvania. It looks really, really good right at the middle. You can't really miss it. It's right on the edge of a nice steep section there. And it was a lot of fun. It was just absolutely glorious. The sun opened up a little bit and the clouds opened up, and it was just gorgeous. And then we even got a little bit of a flurry throughout the day with the sun cranking through, and it just, man, it looked absolutely excellent. So the runs at Blue overall, as far as the double blacks and everything on the left side of the mountain, I would have to rate those runs, man, almost like probably a 7 or 8 out of 10. It was that good of snow coverage for a Pennsylvania mountain. Obviously nothing compared to like a full-size big old mountain, but for a Pennsylvania mountain, I could see why those runs alone would make Blue one of the best out there. Unfortunately, my overall thoughts of Blue kind of got ticked down a few pegs just for the sheer volume of people that were at this freaking mountain. They need to do a better job with the lifts. It was so many people funneled into just the worst area. So the Main Street quad, you got people funneling down and there's no direction whatsoever. At the very least, having somebody there to guide people on where the actual line is, and it's just one big bottleneck. You can't find a line on either side. They got 2 chairs going all over the place, and that takes Blue down a little bit. So I think if you're going to Blue and you're able to go on a weekday, it would be cherry. Ultimately, just a banging mountain, and I would definitely be back. To my understanding, Blue is not on Vail ownership, so it's pretty banging because the prices are reasonable. It was $109 for an 8-hour ticket, and I would pay that again. That was a very reasonable ticket. At a place like this, it would be worth paying whatever the extra money is to get the VIP lane or the quick access to the lifts. 100%, if we go again, I will be doing that because it would just have made the trip a much better experience. And ultimately, other than that small little hiccup, Blue was pretty banging overall. And just like that, my friends, we come to the end of a wonderful trip. No matter what, when you can get some free time to go out with some friends and try a new mountain on a snowboard, it is just unmatched. It really is. Snowboarding is probably one of my favorite extreme sports to do, and also one of my favorite to do with a group of great friends. I hope you guys have found this new style, new format of filming nice on this B channel. As you are watching this right now, I'm about a week away from our adventures in Utah at Zion National Park and our adventures all throughout Vegas and SHOT Show. You guys are not going to want to miss it, so please hit subscribe. Check out more of what this channel has to offer, because I promise some of you guys will really enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for more awesome content coming soon.